Jalen?
Yes, sir.
We have some interesting news coming out of the nation's capital. Does not involve the Nationals. Woj broke the story earlier today. Bradley Beal signed a 2-year, $72 million extension. We had Wale in studio yesterday. We're talking about the Wizards. And one thing I did to prepare for the show is I looked at the Wizards roster. And it's not the most impressive roster out there. So they lock in Bradley Beal for 2 more years. Jalen.
Yes.
What does this tell you about the Wizards' plan moving forward?
So, shout to Tommy Shepard, who's a friend of mine. We were both in Denver at the same time.
Oh.
So both of us watched each other's trajectory come to a point where I'm doing national television shows, and he's the general manager, president of the Wizards. And what I will say is, in an era where players get so unhappy really quick and want to be moved, when they look at a roster like you just said, look at a conference and know that they're not a contender.
Not close.
And want to get traded.
Yes. Like if someone told me there's going to be Bradley Beal news this morning, I would say he either asked for a trade or got traded. Now he's signed to stay in Washington.
Can I tell you my favorite thing about Bradley Beal?
Yes, you can, sir.
Besides the fact that he's 20 years younger than me and people say we look alike, he's the only all-star the last 2 seasons to play all 82 games.
2 years in a row.
You know how much I like that.
I know you love that.
Right?
I know you love that. Also, plays defense.
Correct.
Doesn't just play offense.
Dribble passes,
plays defense.
shoot, continue to improve his playmaking ability, will dunk on you. I love his court demeanor. I like the fact that he's doubling down on one of my favorite nicknames. John Wall is the hustle. He's when he has the basketball, going end to end, getting you 10 assists, getting you 2 steals. And Bradley Beal reminds me of Ray Allen, reminds me of Allen Houston with a handle.
There's one
He's
aspect to this deal that we should talk about. It's a 2-year deal, which means when that is up, there's a potential for him to sign a 5-year, $266 million deal. So if he plays 82 games for the next 2 years and he comes to that all-star level and puts himself in position to sign a 5-year, I'm going to say it again, $266 million deal, maybe that's what he has in mind when he signed this piece of paper this morning.
But also, I appreciate the enthusiasm that dynamic duos have brought us across the league. With the Lakers, with the Clippers, with the Rockets, with the Mavs, the Philadelphia 76ers. But you know what I also appreciate, and I'm going to keep bringing this up all year, so if you get tired of me talking about this,
probably already
this is the wrong program. I also like those players that say, like Jimmy Butler, I want to craft my own path to success. That's what Bradley Beal is doing right here.
I guess.
It could have been so easy for him to say, I want to go join.
That's what I would do.
X team.
I'm gone. I'm looking around and I see Ian Mahinmi and Mo Wagner and Ish Smith. I'm like, I'm out of here. No shots at those guys.
Correct. But let me tell you the difference between you and him. I want that $266 million. That's what I want.
The Lakers.
Because you know what I could do with that money, right? I could buy as many rings as I want.
The Lakers and the Warriors met in the preseason late last night, and Anthony Davis and LeBron James didn't put up huge numbers, but there were some flashes of absolute brilliance from both of them last night against the Warriors. Now, Anthony Davis had a quick something to say about his new teammates and LeBron James. Let's listen to AD.
I was joking with LeBron earlier. Said it's the first time in a while where, I can have 5 or 6 points, whatever it was, at halftime, and we were up 30. Everybody has a role, and when you have guys all over the board who can score the basketball, you don't need to do everything every possession.
This is what happens when you decide winning is the most important thing. I'm not an all-time great player, but one thing I learned at a very young age is to buy into a system and to buy into a program. I was like, I'm going to Detroit Southwestern High School because it's a basketball factory. And in 9th grade, you playing JV. Top flight middle schooler, you on JV. Same with the University of Michigan being a part of the Fab Five. And that's what I love about KD also. When he played with Russ, there were games, I look down at the stat sheet, both of them have 40.
Yep.
This is what I like about Anthony Davis and the maturity of his game and mentality. At some point, as one of the top 5 players in the game, you know what he had to look in the mirror and say?
I'm not going to get it done.
I'm not the best player on the championship team.
I'm not going to get it done.
So I need to go join a guy that can help me get there. And so many times in today's landscape, it's really important for me to point this out, Jacoby, because young people think I'm going to do the Stephon Diggs. I'm going to get upset about my role. I'm going to miss practice on Tuesday and miss meetings, get fined $200,000, and then the reward is going to be 3 touchdowns. That works for a very few talented NBA or NFL players, but that don't work in normal life.
No.
Okay? What is the responsibility of the best player? I hear so many guys get in interviews. My team, my guys.
Yeah.
I'm the dude, right?
Yeah.
So if you the dude, right? You the dude, then help us win. Your responsibility is to make us better. That's your responsibility. And what I saw from LeBron and AD, giving up good shots to get great shots. That pick and roll you saw, and we covered the game on Countdown. There was a high pick and roll. LeBron drops it to AD. AD throws it over the top to JaVale McGee.
Yep. They look good together. I mean, I know it's preseason, blah, 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 whatever, but with the Lakers, when they always shuffle the deck with the roster every year, you don't know how it's going to look, and it looks pretty good. But Jalen, really quickly, did you go to Southwestern because you got kicked out of St. Cecilia's?
Well, I got kicked out of St. Cecilia's after 7th grade.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to Precious Blood, and that's when I came into my own.
Oh, okay.
I was upset.
I'm sure you were.
There were games, just so you know, there were games in 8th grade where we had 45 points and I had 39.
So you were an upset Jalen. We have another upset Jalen in the news, Jalen Ramsey. But he's no longer upset. He had this to say about the new lease on life he has in Los Angeles.
Like I said, I was overjoyed. I was super, super excited. A fresh start, a place like LA, with the culture that I've heard about here, and I'm a young guy still. Everybody around here is kind of young. I feel like, it'll be a little bit more understanding. So yeah, I was just honestly super excited. I don't know, words can't really describe it. I'm feeling pretty good. Getting better and better every day. Feeling pretty good, really.
You think his back feels better? You think the back's okay?
I like that I can say certain things that everybody else thinking. And I love his old dog menace to society braids.
I did too. They're starting to get a little fuzzy. He's gonna get it redone.
I like him.
And now that he's in Los Angeles too.
I like him.
Now that he's in Los Angeles, I like those a lot.
But in all honesty, he's such a very talented player. He didn't feel like the Jags were using him right.
Also, he didn't feel like the Jags were going to pay him right.
That too. But also, if you feel like you're a shadow corner and they're not allowing you to do that, you want to be in a system that's going to allow you to be like your idol, Deion Sanders, who sat on an island. And I know sometimes you have to make concessions for the other guys on the field defensively.
Yeah.
But if you have that guy, you got to use that talent. Wade Phillips with the Rams is going to do it. I would love to be the owner, Stan Kroenke, and show up at practice one day and okay, I got Aaron Donald on my line.
Jalen Ramsey back there.
I got Jalen Ramsey back there.
There's another thing. So let's think about Mr. Kroenke, because Jalen's on the 4th year of his rookie deal.
Okay.
And they just gave up 2 first-rounders to bring him to Los Angeles. Do you know what that indicates to me if I'm Jalen Ramsey? They want me to be here. And do you know what that means? They're about to pay me to be here. I would not be surprised if with this offseason, you see across the ticker, Jalen Ramsey signs blah, 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 $100 million or whatever with the Rams.
That's great information. You heard it here first, David Jacoby, and you're exactly right, because there are certain players that that I'm going to be able to rely on for a decade. In my opinion, the reason why I love the defensive back in the safety position, it's the toughest, other than quarterback, to play on the field. Those guys have to be fast, they have to be strong, they have to be knowledgeable, and with the rule changes, they have to be on their heels so very much because you can't be physical with the receivers, yet at the same time, you got to be able to attack the football. He's one of the best at doing it. And by the way, Hold on.
What? What's that?
Rams training staff on the phone.
What, is the back feeling better?
He's healthy.
Oh, his back
he's
feeling
healthy.
better?
He's healthy.
Oh,
His back is healthy. He's ready to go on
It's a medical
Sunday.
miracle. It's a medical miracle. Gosh, Jalen, I'm so glad your back feels better. Everyone at home, I need you to do something. Get out your pens and your pencils because you're about to need to take notes on what Anita Marks will tell you right after this.